Shalom, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai. Let give all praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, great millstone that taught us his word. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect across the planet Earth pushing the truth. Yeah, I got this article out of TASS.com, Russian news agency. Apparently, Trump, he's building up the military, He's coming up with these new technologies, thinking that it will help, protect America from the destruction. But it's not, being their plowshares and the swords, you know. But it says a U.S. designs new missile shield with space-based interceptors. The United States will employ technology that is far advanced than Israel's Iron Dome. But none of this is gonna work, because Israel's gonna be completely destroyed as well as Babylon the Great. It's dated May 20th. Today, the United States has decided on the architecture of its Golden Dome missile defense system, which includes, among other things, deployment of interceptor missiles in space. I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. Russia and China are convinced that the Golden Dome program for the United States is of a deeply destabilizing nature, as follows from the joint statement on global strategic stability. But yeah, Trump is investing, trillions of dollars into this missile defense. This is out of militarytimes.com. So dated a while ago, April 8th, 2025. This is President Donald Trump this week unveiled plans for a 1 trillion defense budget next year, a massive increase that he claimed will provide the country with unmatched military strength for years to come. So yeah, massive increase, what $1 trillion they're looking to spend. Why? Because they know something's coming down the pipe. They know that World War III is right around the corner, We're going to be approving a budget, and I'm proud to say, actually, the biggest one we've ever done for the military. 1 trillion. Nobody has seen anything like it. So yeah, there's a reason for that, because they're trying to protect, but the scriptures say, this place is going to be wiped out. It's going to be destroyed. The first scripture. Joel 3:10, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. I'll start at 9. Joel 3:9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Yeah, so they're preparing war. All these nations, they're preparing war. Large nations like America, even smaller nations, just beat their plowshares into swords and their pruning hooks into spears. Yeah, they're building up their military, taking their architectural, our agricultural tools, turning them into weapons of war. Pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. You got nations like Iran. They're saying they're strong, man. They're building up their nuclear arsenal. Which they probably pretty much already have it. They've been saying that they've been building up that nuclear arsenal since forever. But they probably got the missile, Nations like India, they've got the missile, the nuclear technology. Israel, they got it. Those weak nations saying they're strong. But this is also an example of being their plowshares and the spears, man, coming up with new missile designs with space-based sensors and interceptors, man. Thinking that they're going to stop this destruction, and they're not, This is Joel 2 and 3. Fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, nothing shall escape them. Man, it's talking about that nuclear destruction. So nothing's going to escape, destruction, man. The land is going to be devoured by that missile. You know, before the missile looks like, before them, the land is as the Garden of Eden. You know, you have nature, lakes, streams, flowers, trees, all that. And after them, it's going to wipe all that out. A desolate wilderness, Streams are going to turn into a pitch. There's not going to be more rivers. The lines of confusion. You're not going to know which state was what, which city was what city, and where it was. It's going to be complete, utter destruction. And no missile defense system is going to stop it. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on top of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained, all faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. It's talking about the missiles, man. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. Yes, it's none shall break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. You're not going to run into each other. Each missile is going to hit its intended target. You can Golden Dome, Iron Dome, missile defense systems. None of that's going to stop them. Why? Because that's the prophecy of the Most High, man. Yahweh Shem Shai. That's the prophecy going to come to pass, that America is going to be destroyed, as well as Israel. But Israel's going to be built back up again. Read that in the AMP. They run like warriors. They climb the wall like soldiers. They each march straight ahead in line, and they do not deviate from their paths. They do not crowd each other. Each one marches in his path. Yeah, so they have a path. And when they burst through the fences, weapons, they do not break ranks. Yeah, so they are not going to deviate from their path. There's not going to be any technology that's going to stop them from hitting their intended targets, man. America's going to be wiped out. Israel, different places around the world is going to get touched. But, Israel's going to be built up, back up again, It's Revelation 11:11. And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from the Most High entered into them. They stood upon their feet. Great fear fell upon them which saw them. Yeah, 3 days and a half represents 350 years, roughly from 1619 to about 1970. 1969, 1970. The Spirit of life entered into, and we're in that time right now. The truth is being published, and the elect is waking up. The hopeful elect is waking up. Around 1970, when the truth was being pushed on the streets, that's when it first started to be pushed by Alpha Bivens. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Yeah, that's salvation. Once these missiles hit, that was described in Joel 2, second chapter. None shall break their rings. That's the only way you're going to be delivered from those missiles. It's to be in that chariot. That's the salvation. When Yahweh Shai comes back, the hopeful elect is going to be, or the elect, they will be delivered in them ships. When it says, the great voice from heaven, saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. In that same hour there was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were frightened, and He gave glory to the power of heaven. Yeah, in that same hour, there was a great earthquake, man, from all that nuclear destruction. Scripture said the earth shall rock to and fro like a drunkard, man, when all the missiles hit. 200 million missiles, man. And the 10th part of the city fell. Yeah, 10th part of the city represents the entire North American continent, man. Or America. It says, I guess America is broken up into 10 different sections, 10 different zip codes or FEMA regions, from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. Since the 10th part of the city fell, so I mean the whole land is going to be devoured and wiped off. And in the earthquake, we're slain 7,000 men. Yeah, everyone that's standing on the shores, the soils of America, will be slain, be caught up in that lake of fire, the nuclear destruction. And the remnant were frightened. Yeah, so the remnant are going to be in those ships, and they're going to be afraid, even in those ships. But gave glory, they're going to give glory to Yahweh Shem Shai for delivering them, man. So yeah, it says the 10th part of the city fell. So it doesn't matter all these weapons, these interceptors, the Iron Dome, Golden Dome, whatever you want to call it, missile defense systems. It's not going to stop that destruction. It says none shall break the ranks. Neither one shall thrust upon another. The Most High Spirit is going to be in those missiles, and they're going to hit each target. So they can spend trillions of dollars, man. They're gearing up for this World War III. But in the end, this place is going to be wiped off, man. There's nothing they can do about it. Like I said, we're going to be proving a budget, and I'm proud to say, actually, the biggest one we've ever done for the military. So this is the biggest military budget, ever. He said 1 trillion. Nobody has seen anything like it. And there's a reason for that, man. Because the war to end all wars, and it was on the cusp. It was right around the corner, man. A couple more prophecies. You still got that hour of temptation. That chip needs to be pushed, as well as the time of Jacob's trouble. That needs to happen as well. But we're close. So with that, shalom.